All right, we are here to talk about Transformers for another hour or however long, because you know what? If in case you didn't get enough of us the first time talking about Transformers, absolutely loving it, we're here to do it again with Transformers Volume 2, and let's get into it.
Welcome to the Dingus Den.
All right, welcome to the Dingus Den, everybody. We are here to talk about Transformers Volume 2. I got all the single issues. You got the trade, which is awesome. But yeah, I got all these as they came out. And we've been doing a good bit of Energon universe stuff so far. We've talked about Duke. We've talked about the first volume of Transformers. We talked about Cobra Commander. Now we're here to talk about Transformers Volume 2. And yeah, I'm excited to get into these as this. I forgot how awesome this arc was. And then once we got into, or at least once I got into reading like the second half of it, it's like, oh, it's this stuff it's doing. Heck yeah.
Yeah.
And so, because I read all these as they came out monthly, and so it's cool. These work really well as like a binged experience, and so
Yeah.
it's been like great going back to them. But anyway. As always for these Energon videos, Warren is here. Great to have you here as we continue our journey throughout the universe. Where this, if we just count like I don't know, almost halfway-ish, I don't know, of like the main time stuff, not counting Void Rivals and whatever.
Yeah, I believe so. I think there's 4 volumes in the Daniel Warren Johnson written.
Yeah,
one.
4 volumes, and then we got 4 individual character volumes of like the G.I. Joe stuff we're covering, and then we got the main G.I. Joe to get into, which we'll see how well that goes. But anyway, I'm just blabbering. I'm excited to delve into more of this Transformers though, since this is an absolutely awesome read. If you didn't check out our first part of the Transformers, you all should do that, because that was a great time where we just gushed about Transformers for nearly an hour. Deservedly so, though, because Daniel Warren Johnson, you did an amazing job with that first arc, and I think you did a great follow-up arc as well. What do you think?
I agree. They're adding so many layers to the Transformers, and they really lean on, like, these guys have been at war for centuries, and war has its effects on people, and they spend time talking about that. The traumatization of war, PTSD, stuff that Optimus is trying to deal with, and it's just so much more layered than what like the original cartoon was, or really any of the takes that kind of come out. They put a lot more thoughtfulness into these.
Yeah, it's like such a great mix of like all the great stuff from before and just that new sort of layer of what do you want to say? Like, the first word that comes to mind, I don't know if that's the first right word, of like grimness to it or something,
Yeah.
It's great though. You're absolutely right. And so I'm excited to get into it. Let's just go ahead and get into it, because there's a lot to talk about with these issues. As always, I feel like, since just like it's Transformers, it's Transformers. It's Daniel Warren Johnson's Transformers. So
yeah.
So begin. Well, first off, you see this great cover that the volume gives us of RC, or not RC, Alita 1. I get those two Transformers always mixed up, and I literally looked up today, like, what's her name again? Like, I don't know if that's like Autobotus to me. I don't know, confusing. But it doesn't help that the two main pink Transformers are both like pink. So
yeah.
But anyway, Alita 1, I had to look up the name today, because I'm like, I was not getting the name right earlier. So anyway, this issue begins actually with a flashback. We get to see actually, is this a flashback or is this modern time? I think it's modern time, actually. Where we do get to see what's going on Cybertron. If I remember right, we didn't get to really see Cybertron at all in the first volume.
No, there wasn't even any flashbacks, I believe. So
Right, we've only seen like I think we saw like a flashback of it in the distance, but not like what's going on
Yeah.
Cybertron. So it's cool that here we get to actually see. Whoa, there's a big battle going on Cybertron here. And I also like too when we get into this. I mean, there's a lot of great action here. We see Alita 1 running along, and she runs into a big destroyed bot, and I like how like we can't tell who this is, at least not yet.
Yeah, it's you could almost barely make out that it's an Autobot. It took me a little bit less like what's going on here at first, but yeah.
Yeah, I like how it's sets up like, oh, it's some big Autobot that's there, but we don't know who it is. But yeah, it definitely takes a moment to be like, what is that? I did want to shout out though, because I don't think Dana Warren Johnson he's just the writer on this. George Corona is the artist, and Mike Spicer is the colorist.
They've already switched up then. Okay.
Yeah, I think he only did the first arc, I believe. And so yeah, I was about to praise the art, and I was like, hold on, we better give credit where it's due always, as these people are insanely talented. I think he did a good job of trying to keep his original styling up though.
Yeah, it's you could definitely tell that Daniel Warren Johnson was there like editing or giving him pointers, because he did a really good job of keeping that style going.
Yeah. So anyway, we get a bunch of great stuff with I actually love this scene where we get the Decepticons together.
Yeah, this is classic Soundwave too. This is what always happens to him, whether it's cartoons or movies or what. He's going to get his ass kicked.
Yeah, Soundwave's come up and he's like, Starscream, I don't think you're fit for this role anymore.
Yeah,
and he just beats the shit out of him. See, boom, boom. Oh, Starscream showing he's getting his ass beat up, which is pretty funny.
Yeah, Soundwave's always been, because you got Soundwave, you've got Megatron, and then there's the other one, the guy with the
Shockwave. Is that his name?
Yeah, Shockwave. They've all like Soundwave is true to Megatron. He always has been. And then Starscream will try to do his stuff, but Soundwave always keeps it real with the Decepticons. And yeah, he just beats his metal ass on this one.
Yeah, literally. And then even worse, his beak, what's his name? Razorbeak or
Laserbeak, yeah.
Yeah. Razorbeak goes in there and like gets his eye. It's like, oh my god.
I like it because he's like, you kicked my Ravage. And he just like tosses his ass into the lava.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. Yeah, goodbye, Starscream, and there you go. And so, yeah, great stuff. And then you see them all chanting Soundwave. Pretty cool. Got a new Decepticon leader for this arc, which is pretty exciting. And consequences of Starscream miserably failing at the end of Volume 1. So, like to see that. We got character moment between RC and Carly. That's right.
Yeah, Carly.
Yeah, Carly together. Seeing them bond and like they're getting quite close with each other. Being the core human and Autobot relation. Issue.
And Carly's dealing with the loss of her father, and she's dealing with a lot of rage right now. And RC is going to help her out through that, I think.
Right. Yeah. Let's see. We get more stuff with Cliffjumper and is that Ratchet there?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. This is interesting too. We this is the first of 2-3 times that happens where Optimus is like getting these visions.
Yeah, I'm wondering, do you think it's from Spike's father? Like, I imagine these are all memories of Spike's dad, except Optimus is in there. So that's what I think is happening. They didn't verify it in the second volume, but I think that's what's happening.
That makes a lot of sense, because I was kind of confused of like, why is he doing it again? I'm sure there's a reason, and that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
I don't remember if they get into it later on or not. So we'll see once we get to 3 and 4. But yeah, pretty cool.
I also like the fact that Optimus is not just perfect. Like he's a badass in this,
Oh yeah,
but he's dealing with a lot of stuff, and he's not always making necessarily the right choice, but he's always making the moral choice, which is spot on for Optimus. But we're not getting like a I do everything right, super clean
sure.
Optimus Prime.
Yeah, it's cool to see of like just somebody that's I'm trying to think of the word of like, you know, I guess somewhat relatable of like somebody that's not, you know, you can always expect somebody to always make the right decisions, you know.
Yeah.
And so it's cool that he's a later character than being like, oh, that's what we need to do, and that's always the right thing, you know.
Yeah.
He always has his own judgments for his own reason, and we see that. And you know, there's a huge part of that at the end that we'll get to. But up until then, or till then though, I love this shot with Optimus. And you just still see him there with Megatron's arm and using it there, which is still such a cool moment from how do you get it? Go check out Volume 1. So, but yeah, so go on. We see Lita 1's carrying around the body there on Cybertron. You know, getting a lot of Cybertron, and we see Autobots attack some the Navy. All right.
Yeah, big old aircraft carrier.
Yeah. And so this is a pretty cool part. I thought it was really cool. We see this one where he's holding him, and he's like, well, maybe I like shouldn't necessarily get him, but then Soundwave's like, well, we got to do what's necessary, and murders them all, which is quite brutal. I feel like that's trying to like one up what happened in Volume 1 with Starscream. You know, we talked about that moment where he just grabs that person and squishes him, or completely slams him, or whatever it was. But point is, though, the squish, the infamous squish, you know, trying to one up that. I feel like really showing how big of a villain he is. But we get to see more of the Autobots sort of regrouping, trying to figure out exactly what to do next. We see Carly's wanting to help out more, which is an important part of this, because Optimus is like, you need to be here, always stay safe, because he feels responsible for all the humans. You know, very important Platoon's character there. And here, you know, as you're talking about with Optimus not being the perfect leader, we get a great moment with Marcy and Carly talking to each other, and then also saying like, well, we can also tell that he's dealing with his own stuff too, as you see Optimus in the distance down there at the bottom right there.
Yep.
And so like that's the thing, is like you get some great deep stuff with this, but then you also get a mix of just absolutely awesome stuff. As you know, we get into this, Decepticons are going down into the ocean. Why are they going into the ocean? Well, we've seen where like the Autobot ship is, and obviously they got attacked and all that, but following right behind that was a giant Decepticon ship, which it's cool to see that reveal done right here. And so that was pretty cool.
That was cool. It's a cool scene too. Like, you know, they're bringing it up from the ocean.
Yeah.
Floor, and they've got like this whole kind of tube like of the ocean is like pressed away to allow them to bring it up, and it's pretty crazy.
Yeah. I also just love too, you really get to here, particularly you see it really well in this bottom panel here, where I love like the coloring of like just Autobots and a colorful sort of seabed.
Yeah.
You know, it's like you don't really think about like Transformers being in the bottom of the ocean, and one of them, actually I think on the previous page, kind of like makes not joking about it, but they're like, we're gonna rust down here if we were here for too long, and Soundwave's like, shut up, we got a thing to do here.
Yeah.
So but no, I really like them being underwater and all that. They look pretty cool down under in the water there, which I really like. Anyway, we get more of Optimus Prime's dreams. We get a close up of his eyes. There's a couple of shots that we get in this volume of his eyes up close, which are really cool. There's one in one of the last 2 issues that really stood out to me, that I thought was really cool. But anyway, Optimus, there's a point earlier where he was wanting to resurrect, I don't remember who it was, Jetfire.
Yeah, he was at the very beginning, who helped them escape originally, and then was hurt real badly, and now he's back, but yet he's only they only had enough to bring him back to the point where he can only stay in one form, so he can't transform right now.
Right, but it's important that he's somebody that can fly for them. As we know, Autobots are normally just cars, things with 4 or 2 wheels.
He said, just like the other guy too, he's just like, why didn't you let me die? Like, just a lot of these tortured Autobots just want to die in this fall.
Yeah, that's true. And so we can see that they're preparing to do something over there, as well as we can see the Decepticons are, making use of their old ship, getting into it. Seeing this somebody captured in there, which then reveals what's his name, Astrotrain.
Yeah.
He's a bit of a beast. He's not one of those Transformers I'm familiar with prior to this, having read this, but he's pretty cool. Having somebody that's a big brute sort of, Decepticon to help them get their job done. So
I love that while he's talking to Soundwave, he's just beating the hell out of this Decepticon jet guy. Just like,
yeah, he just needs somebody to beat up. He couldn't beat up. Who is he wanting to beat up? Was it Megatron or something?
I don't know. Like, is he? Because he's like, where is he? And I'm guessing he's talking about Megatron. But I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think that's who he was alluding to. I could be wrong, but he just looks angry there. Look at that, like, just panel that's close up on his face there. Like,
yeah,
the anger, and I love the art in this still too. Like, it's so good.
Well, I'm so glad that they in the artwork they made their faces malleable. Like, they're all metal, but they still, like, Daniel Warren Johnson did this, and Jorge is continuing on with where you're allowing him to have some flexibility in order for to get the emotion and also the action really well. So it's really nicely done.
Yeah, I think that's just one of the great things about the comic book medium that you can't really get in other places. Like, I really liked the if you remember, Netflix did a trilogy of 3D animated stuff. It was War for Cybertron, Earth something. Or something,
yeah, I remember that.
And then and then they did the last one. They brought in stuff with oh my gosh, I don't remember the oh my gosh, it's name's blank on me, but the third part dealt with like the primal and the Beast Wars like Autobots and thing. I don't remember what they're called, Predacons and whatever. Anyway, point is to say is, like, I loved how that brought in the G1 look, but like those were kind of like restricted in some ways of what they could do, and a lot of it they hid behind people's mouths, like Optimus Prime, you don't see any of his mouth movement or anything there.
Yeah.
So, but anyway, point is though is this is, while that was cool in its own ways, it's great how this can do things. And the great thing with comic books is that you're not restricted of the scale and things that you want to do with it. The only restriction is how great the talent is. So, but yeah. Anyway, so we get into this. The Autobots are preparing to leave. Here's an important thing that we get where Carly becomes RC's apprentice, her iron apprentice, as it's called.
Yeah.
So she'll always, officially taking her up on her wing, learning a little bit of Cybertron, like, customs or tradition here, which is interesting because we don't get too much of, like, well, what is life and what they believe on Cybertron, because all we know about them is, they're in an eternal war, essentially.
Yeah.
And so that was a little bit of an interesting plot point there, I thought. But anyway, then they fly out. Like, we just see Thunder, the what's his name? The we just talked about him.
Jetfire. No,
Jetfire.
Yeah,
Thank
Jetfire.
you. Jetfire carrying Optimus there as they're flying out, and so, oh good lord, I'm bad with names sometimes. And then I remember this is where this particular issue ended. I'm as we're going through this, I'm not sure of exactly what ends issue, because reading the volume, it's all together and it all flows well all together as well. But it's kind of hard to tell what's the end of an issue or not. But here we see the return of Shockwave, who where Soundwave was able to communicate with him, and so pretty cool. So we got Soundwave back into this, and do we see that they're they're preparing this big device with their big ship down at the bottom of the ocean. This big beam comes out of the water as the Autobots come attack, and yeah,
Jetfire gets effed up again.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, having to make a crash landing there, and we see what they are able to do is just make this big portal, and there is Shockwave. Oh my gosh, I've always found him to be like one of the coolest like Decepticon villains that there are, so it's always cool to see him there. I mean, I like the duo of both Soundwave and Shockwave a lot, but I feel like Shockwave has always been the one for me that's a little more memorable for whatever reason. So cool to see him here, and he is ruthless in this too, which is cool to see as well, because he's set up to be like the main bad guy that kept things going on Cybertron during the whole time. And so,
when Megatron and them left chasing Optimus and the Autobots, Shockwave essentially was the main man back in Cybertron. So
yeah. But yeah, here we get the giant battle happening underwater. So you're getting to see all these great colors and stuff that I was mentioning earlier with Transformers and under the sea, which is cool to see. I just like love the crazy scale of it, of what they're able to do, because it's all robots together. And so, yeah, it's pretty cool. So as we get into it, Optimus, of course, continues being a badass. They reference Shockwave and Optimus reference their last time when
Optimus is so cold for this too.
Oh yeah,
like, remember when I made you sound like a bitch last
time? This is true. Yeah, you forgot our last meeting, Soundwave. Shall I make you cry for mercy a second time? Yeah, essentially, yeah. Pretty. Optimus, this is pretty badass. It's such a great version of him. I need Peter Cullen voicing so many of his like lines in this. You know, it'd be pretty awesome. And so, but yeah, we also see there's another side of the. Well, we can see there's like RC and Ratchet out there, dealing with, I guess, the troops and whatnot here or whatever.
Yeah, some kind of militia or troops. Yeah.
Here we see the guy, the Decepticon earlier. I already forgot his name. But the guy that was in the prison, he takes Spike, threatening to kill everybody if Spike doesn't come out. So Spike sacrifices himself so the Decepticons get more prisoners of war. Here we see all these Decepticons ganging up on Optimus Prime. Looks to be working. Well, is working here. As Shockwave declares himself victorious. And here we see back to Elita 1 carrying the body, where she then is able to come out through the portal, just randomly stumbling upon it, as other Decepticons are going through as well. And she stumbles upon, oh shit, Optimus is down, and there's all these Autobots down. They're losing right now because there's just too many Decepticons that are constantly getting reinforcements, as we're seeing right here. Looking rough for the Autobots right now. So she does her best to do what she can. And yeah, we see Optimus waking up, and he's like, oh no, there's Jazz, Cliff Jumper, who then end up getting captured. And Optimus just gets away with Elita 1 and the ruined Autobot body there that hopefully that they can salvage, but having to leave behind. And like, this is just kind of crazy as well, of Shockwave being like, and you're coming with me, and Cliff Jumper's like, no. It's like, oh shit. Well, unpleasant things are about to happen to him. So we get into it. where with Spike, who's getting transported back, and then he randomly gets saved by Beachcomber, which I'm not familiar with this Autobot really part of this either, but
I remember him. I think he was the Jeep one from the cartoon, but I'm not 100% sure.
well, you know what? I'll just say this: his name's Beachcomber. They definitely live up to the beach name in his in his character in this. So
I'm here to save you, brah.
yeah, exactly. So anyway, we get to actually then see what exactly happened with Beachcomber as we see millions of years ago in Earth's orbit, the big battle that is happening on the Autobot ship, where he is actually yeeted out onto the moon in that battle. He was stuck there for a very long time, where he then hitches a ride home in the very first I should remember the name of this, but you know, the very first shuttle to ever be on the moon, you know, the famous, you know.
Oh yeah, the Apollo mission.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so
And
anyway,
And he got yeeted out a million years ago. So like these
That's
Autobots
insane.
are like
Yeah.
damn near, they must be immortal.
Yeah. It's pretty crazy to think that you're just lonely for all that time, and the next thing you know, he's hitching a ride. Pretty funny to see. But I just found that funny too. Of like, hold on, you're telling me he's able to hitch a ride, and they somehow don't notice on like their first ever craft? That's so peculiar, you know. But anyway, point is, he's able to reach Earth, and we see here him like exploring its life and really coming to love it, much like how Optimus like really cared for it.
Yeah, yeah.
And because of that, here we see him find the crash ship, and he debates, well, I could turn them on, but he knows if they turn on, the war will come.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really interesting point that this makes, though. That I think is like really like such an interesting like kind of point of like, sure, you can bring back the people you love, but if it brings all this bad, is it really worth it? You know?
Yeah.
So I kind of like that sort of moral question that it brings here. I mean, obviously, spoiler alert, hey, they all wake up. Want to find out how they wake up? Check out volume 1. So, but anyway, yeah, that's a cool point though that I thought pretty cool. Here we see that big dude Change, who won't shut up, and we just like this. You get this sense that he's just like a pure sense of kind of evil and just wants to kill him and do all the bad things that he's told. And he's like, yeah, it's everything's gonna be bad for you and whatever. And the Beachcomber's like, oh yeah, they're gonna be screwed over with Shockwave. And getting this sort of flashback sort of memory thing with him there, which is pretty cool to see. And trying to figure out exactly what's going on with that beam. They don't quite know exactly, other than that's bad things are going on. Here they see that they're looking at all like different sea life. And what are they going to do with that sea life? Well, for Cybertron or for the Energon, they're obliterating the life for energy, which is just holy shit.
It's like, Jesus, guys.
Yeah, it really shows a lot when they're showing like, you know, whales are known to be like the biggest creature ever. And when you just see one get completely obliterated in a snap like that, it's like, holy shit. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah.
So, let's see, we get more stuff with RT and Alita 1 here. There's this interesting point of, well, they could use all the main energon there to resurrect that one person that Alita 1 brought, or they could bring back multiple others because I think because of him being like a bigger one, so he requires more energy. So it's like, do we bring back this big one instead of like 3 other guys or something like that?
Yeah. And this is also where we find out that our charred up friend here is Ultra Magnus, which is
yes,
which
was the person that we saw a bit far ago in the flashback too.
Yeah,
we got some foreshadowing with exactly what's going on here. Here we get to see the prisoners of war Ratchet and Cliff Jumper being chained up, and the last panel there is Shockwave and that other Decepticon, or not Shockwave, Soundwave and that other Decepticon's walking away, and you just hear one of the Autobots yelling, "No, no!" and screaming. It's like, oh god, I can only imagine what's going on in there. So, and we also get the sense of like there's this other Decepticon that's not. He's spying on them. He's not really sure exactly what to think of all the stuff going on.
Yeah,
because he says this thing here says, "We're turning you all to your full self sooner." Yeah. Anyway, some interesting stuff going on there with the Decepticons. We get this moment of Optimus and Elita One together as they're, you know, already. Oh my gosh, Elita One is talking to him, being like, "Well, we wish we could have used you, Optimus. It's been, it's been rough." And Optimus is like, "Well, like at least help here." And so, good conversation going on there. And here we get to see their big machine all powered up. And what exactly is their machine trying to do? Some crazy shits is what's happening.
Yeah,
look at
it's
this.
like from the one of the Michael Bay movies did did kind of the same thing. Was they're trying to bring Cybertron to Earth.
Oh, wasn't that the like the fifth one last?
Yeah, it was
night?
one of the Wahlberg ones, I believe.
Yeah, it was not the fourth one. I know that. and the only no, I remember that movie because I can look at those movies and be like, you know what? They're not great movies, but I enjoy them.
Yeah.
Except for the last one.
I always felt like they're so disconnected, the movies, that it almost felt like someone gave Michael Bay like 4 scripts, and he's like, okay, these are all great, so we'll make this one first. This one will be the sequel. This one will be like, because they don't seem to be attached at all with these films, aside from the fact that like some of the humans come back, but aside, it's just really detached filmmaking.
No, they're weak movies, but the some of them are definitely as people will call guilty pleasures of like, I know these aren't great movies, but I enjoy some of them.
I still can't hear that Linkin Park song without getting all jazzed up.
Exactly, right? There you go. That's funny too, is that I feel like the most memorable part of those is a great song that Linkin Park that they was that I think, and I think people just associate like that was a song that I think Linkin Park already made, but then got big because he put into it, right?
Yeah, because they'd always start playing it when Optimus would do his end of the movie speech.
Yeah,
about like Autobots. True.
Yeah. Anyway, anyway, Cybertron comes in a much better story. Shots fired. And yeah, just the big. We still get use of the cool like big sound effect letters on this too.
Yeah,
is Cybertron's
beautiful artwork. Just
like, it is.
Oh, that is gorgeous.
And you see the flag there too.
Yeah,
of the American flag there, first on the moon. Thus, it's ours. Right,
yeah.
Right.
If there was oil, we'd already be inhabited there.
You're not wrong. So anyway, Cybertron, it's kind of getting like teleported there, kinda.
Yeah,
there's now solid link between Cybertron and Earth. Pretty crazy. And yeah, let the harvest begin, as Shockwave is ready to like essentially sacrifice all of Earth for Cybertron now.
Yeah,
insane.
I think he's going to do what he did to the whales, but to the whole planet.
Yeah. Yeah. We don't want to be any of those whales, that's for sure. And he's trying to make us whales. Be really bad for us. Anyway, remember I said about Beachcomber being, inhabiting beach in his name? We literally see him surf, which is so
straight up doing his best Silver Surfer cosplay.
Straight up surfing, and pretty great, crazy scenes. Dude, this is the thing though, is like you just gotta let yourself, like, granted, this comic has better writing than about any other Transformer story, probably, but, like, even still with this, it's like, you gotta, like, turn off a part of your brain of thinking, "That just can't happen," and just accept all the ridiculous shit you see, such as
Yeah, just have
Beachcomber.
fun.
Yeah, such as Beachcomber surfing. Like, don't question how a giant-ass robot can surf. Like, yeah,
It
the
just
physics don't
happens.
work, it just works. Yeah, exactly. Or don't also question the whole thing going on there with Cybertron. That's obviously physically not possible. Just accept the crazy shit that's happening. That's like kind of the number one rule with sci-fi and especially Transformers, just accept whatever you're saying. Here we see like some of the differences between RT and Elita 1, which is interesting. And RC like mad of uh about what Elita did in the past, giving her a piece of raw medicine. She's like, you know what? I guess I deserved it, you know?
Yeah.
And so some more great character moments. You see the Autobots are, they're all having their discussions together, trying to their own discourse, but they're like, well, we need to stop this though, because they know that the Earth is literally at stake now. And so they gotta do what they can. They get their own portal device work, leave behind Carly, as Optimus is like, you gotta stay here because it's too dangerous for you. And even RC agrees here too. That's an important point too. Earlier, RC is like, you know what? It's okay. You can come. Now she's like, no, you gotta stay here. This is way worse now. Now that we know Shockwave's involved and literally all of Earth now. And so from there, you see here we see an interesting moment with Spike too. He's like, oh, it feels wrong to fight, but it's like you have to. You can't just run away. And so, him kind of running into the realization with Beachcomber of like, oh, you got to deal with this stuff, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's one of those things where if you love this so much, you're going to have to protect it because it's about ready to be all destroyed.
Yeah. So here we see Optimus comes out and starts and interferes with the plan going on, what the Decepticons are up to. And well, Shockwave starts beating up RC. And then I love this too, where he's like, to me, my Decepticons, and he's like, assemble, and then it's like, into Devastator. And so I thought that was pretty cool. So we see Devastator return, and then Optimus Prime is, we have backup. Out comes, what's his name? Ultra Magnus?
Yep, Ultra Magnus, and he's
Ultra
all
Magnus.
back to full health, it looks like.
Pretty badass looking. And then we get to actually never mind. He has to run away. Autobot PTSD, I guess.
Yeah.
Is how I read that. And then Shockwave's like, well, back to breaking your bodies now. He's like such a ruthless villain too. There's a moment too that I think was or maybe earlier this issue or the last issue that I skipped over too that stood out to me, is where Soundwave was like, shouldn't we be focusing on doing something? And then Shockwave's like, are you sure that's really the best plan of action? Just sit with yourself and tell yourself, is that really the best thing we should be doing right now? You know? And so like he's a ruthless villain, which is pretty cool to see. Like I said, he's always been one of those that I really like. I mean, obviously Megatron's number one, but I'd say he's probably number two for me.
Yeah.
And so, but anyway, Carly's seeing all these things going on. Just utter war. Like these war, like the battle. We get a bunch of the same like just battle sort of sequences here. Not that in a bad sense, but like it's just crazy though. Like so much war and stuff going on here the entire time. And so, but we see Carly then taking the van there and ramming it in, and Yeah,
saving Cliff Jumper.
saving Cliff Jumper from Soundwave there. Yep, pretty
That is
cool.
one freaking tough ass van that she's able to jump it
It's
into
pretty crazy.
Soundwave, and it still keeps going.
Pretty crazy. And then all the Autobots charge. I almost want to say roll out there, but he did not say that there.
Missed opportunity.
I think so, honestly. So anyway, they're fighting for control of the portal here. Devastator gets knocked down after. See, this doesn't help. I don't know if it's Alita or RC there. I think that's Alita there though.
Yeah, Alita's the motorcycle. RC's a car.
Right.
Yeah.
There we go. So Alita's there, doing the Empire Strikes Back maneuver, you can say.
Yes.
And see massive, completely destroy their harvester. A lot go back into their retreat into the portal.
What a great panel right there. Go right that one where Optimus is standing over top of Carly. Go back one page. Very top there. That's a great shot.
Oh yeah. That is cool. Saying
that'd be a cool movie shot.
Optimus going back. That's the thing is like we just need movies of like what makes this comic work great. And we talked about this, I'm pretty sure, for volume 1, but just to reiterate, like what makes these comic work really well too is that it doesn't focus on human plot half the time. And I think the movies are learning that the more that they go.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But like we don't have that, like I get the budget thing about, you want to make real life looking Transformers. Well, you can't do it the whole time because even though that opening to Bumblebee was amazing, that was like so much for 5 minutes of that movie. Like I get it.
It's one of the advantages of the comic book is that you can focus on, because they really created these layered characters with the Autobots. It wasn't like insert celebrity voice and have action scene here. They actually make these characters layered and have different traumas and different kinds of motivations, which is really missing in the live action ones.
For sure. Except for me, Bumblebee. Bumblebee was a great one that actually had emotion to it, but all the others, yeah. So anyway, back to this page I was at. We see, I love this shot of Optimus here.
Oh yeah,
he goes through the portal and fucks up the Decepticons over there. Like, what a badass panel that is! I absolutely love that. And he comes in and I find it so funny. Shockwave's over there, like, you cowards! And his Optimus Prime's just, wrecking his way through, chasing after him. Shoots off his arm as he's threatening Cliff Jumper there. Pretty cool. And this was the shot that I really liked of Optimus's eyes there. Whereas he's pummeling Shockwave there, he then sees this like vision and it like makes him stop, and it's pretty cool. And we see him like get like overrun with some sort of energy, and he's like, I don't know what happened, as Alita 1 comes in and is like, what? I'm being like, oh, cool to see that you're at your old war self again.
Yeah, it was interesting because it was like, I want to learn more about like Optimus's past, because it's like he's like, oh no, I'm not that dude anymore. It's like, well, you just crushed Soundwave's head in your hand.
Yeah, so. it'd be interesting because it's one thing to know that Optimus was a ruthless leader, but it's another thing to see. It's like that rule of show don't tell. Like, yeah, you could be telling us about it, but it would be cool. And it would be cool if we eventually get like a prequel, like 12 issue miniseries at some point, kind of showing this was what happened leading up, or maybe they could do a whole prequel series. That's the thing though, too, is I feel like what happened on Cybertron specifically is such a gold mine that they rarely ever get into in Transformers media in general.
Yeah.
Like that's what I loved about Transformers 1 is it had a great beginning for that story arc. And then they screwed up the marketing, and then not many people watch it. And now I'm probably never get to see the rest of that, which is unfortunate. But anyway,
it was like the best Transformers movie that no one watched.
It really was. I like loved the movie. I remember I literally had to go. I went to see it multiple times because I was like, you got to go see it. And so, but yeah. Anyway, we see Optimus starting to go back to the portal, and then Alita damages it, destroying it, and is like, "No, you need to stay here. This is your home, not Earth." And this is where I mentioned a bit earlier, Optimus had to make a choice. There's all these energy reserves there, and Alita's like wanting to use it. Like she's like, we have all this energy on here that this that was taken by Shockwave that you're willing to feed Cybertron. But he ends up making the move to destroy it, which is interesting to say the least. Like it's a big moment here that he choosing to destroy the energy that was stored there.
Yeah.
Fully severing that link, and he's now falling through. The rest of Cybertron's going back to where it once was. Well, actually, no, it's a whole part cut off, isn't it? Actually,
Yeah. So the part that was through the portal into the front of the Earth, he's essentially on, and then when he blows that up, it stops the process, and then this chunk is just kind of
the chunk is left there, which is pretty crazy. Like, look at that giant chunk there.
Yeah,
you see all the water coming through from it, and you see how the chunk is off of it there at the top. It's pretty crazy stuff, and we're now seeing him starting to
re-enter Earth's atmosphere.
and Optimus is like, this could be my last moments. He's ready for it, and he's like, but he gets saved by the surfer, Beachcomber. Oh my gosh, this is ridiculous and great all at the same time. Surfing up all those crazy spiral of water going up there. And Optimus is coming down. And the comic ends here of Optimus saying, "What have I done?" as he's saying that bit of Cybertron just crashed down onto Earth.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the issue here, which is pretty cool. How'd you feel about this volume?
It was good. I mean, it's it added a lot more depth to the fight. This is a war, and it's something that gets lost in a lot of the translations due to the fact either it's made for kids or the movies.
Sure.
Michael Bay doesn't like to do much writing or stuff along those lines, but this one really plays into like, this is a war.
Oh,
these guys are soldiers, and the choice Optimus had to make, between Earth and Cybertron, and then leaving behind Arlie, it's just a lot of like tough decisions and real depth in the characters. It was great. It was just what makes the series so great was really on display in this volume.
Yeah, it really was. And yeah, that's a great point of we got to see some of those like things about war really come to light. Tough choices with war come to light in the first volume, and here we got to see more. Especially here, the heart of it being we touched on with Optimus and being like, well, there's his old self of now when Cybertron's in the equation, where does his heart really lie? And he's now determined, like, he feels like, well, Earth is his now that he's been there, and he knows that if he was to abandon them, that they'd have no way to combat what's there. And so it brings a lot of interesting choices, and then obviously choices too, as we see there at the end, right, with how it ended there. Like, there's going to be consequences that come from all these choices too.
Yeah.
And so it's going to be exciting for when we get into volume 3 of this. So, but yeah, I thought this was a really great like follow-up to that first volume. Like, I would say almost just as good as that first volume. I would say almost. I they're both great though.
Yeah, it's really small, if there are any differences, maybe. Yeah, it was just it was another opening chapter of the story. It was really opens things up, you know.
Yeah,
No Megatron at all in the second volume. Still no Megatron. Yeah,
just showing how big, you know, once Megatron comes, he'll be big eventually. But
yeah, it is cool because it's showing, one, like you said, how impactful he is, and two, it's allowing the other characters to breathe while they're figuring all this stuff out. Because it's almost like if Megatron was there, this would have been a very short series. Because
I love letting other Decepticons shine. You know, first time we got Starscream. Now here we got Shockwave and Soundwave. If I remember right, the next volume is an interesting set of issues because it's like kind of each kind of dealing with their own little things and kind of just set up the fourth volume and not really its own story arc like these first two, if I remember right. So it'll be interesting revisiting those once we get to that very shortly. But yeah, I agree. This was awesome. Great read. Go check out Dana Warren Johnson's Transformers. They are fantastic stuff. He absolutely killed it with this. Halfway through his Transformers run now, officially now. And yeah, I don't think I have anything else to say about these issues. Do you?
No, I mean we've went through it pretty good. I mean, great issues. So. Keep it. You know, if you haven't jumped in yet, getting the graphic novels. There's 4 volumes of them out now. I think it would be well worth it. It's really, really, really good stuff.
Worth the space in your collection, and also if you can't get it physically, you can always read them digitally on Global Comics as of this moment. And so that's pretty cool. Being able to check them all out there. But yeah, these Transformers have been awesome. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button if you like what you're seeing here. Always fun doing these reviews. Always have more stuff coming out. Comic reviews, Smallville live review show. I'm starting to put out more shorts here, so make sure you check all that stuff out. And what about you? What do you have going on? Where can the people find you at?
At Lunchbox Comics for my YouTube channel, and there'll be a link in the description for my Linktree, Discord, eBay, all my socials. You can find me on there. I'm doing shorts daily where I'm covering my health journey, as well as my own show, the Lunchbox Comics Spotlight, where I put a spotlight on stuff that I'm reading, as well as review shows with Labs Comics Fan on Off the Shelf, The Last Panel, stuff with Dingus here. I mean, a lot of stuff coming down the line for me and with my YouTube.
That's awesome. Go check them out. You do a bunch of awesome stuff over there. And yeah, thank you everybody so much for joining in this video. It was a great time talking about Transformers Volume 2, the I don't remember what it's called. Something.
something dark side.
Yeah, exactly.
The Transport to Oblivion.
Yes,
Volume 2.
Thank you. There we go. Anyway, thank you for tuning in for Transformers Transport to Oblivion. Laters, everyone. Bye.
Peace.